So this is from the AP, but I first came across this article on Twitter by looking at the camp's feed. So title is Iran discovers new oil field with over 50 billion barrels. Seems like pretty big number. Not super into oil reserves and whatnot, but seems pretty substantial in this article. Again from the AP by Mir Vadat from November 10th of 2019, so pretty recent. Iran has discovered a new oil field in the country's south with over 50 billion barrels of crude. Its president said Sunday, a find that could boost the country's proven reserves by a third as it struggles to sell energy abroad over U.S. sanctions. This announcement by Hassan Rouhani comes as Iran faces crushing American sanctions after the U.S. pulled out of its nuclear deal with the world power last year. Should also be added that Iran was fully incompliant when the Trump administration decided to rip up the Iran nuclear deal. I believe Trump decided to do that because he saw it as one of the positive things that Obama was able to accomplish under his two terms, and I frankly agree with that. Some 53 billion barrels would be added to Iran's proven reserve of roughly 150 billion, he said, so I guess they'd have a little bit over 200 billion. I'm telling the White House that in the days when you sanctioned the sale of Iranian oil and pressured our nation, the country's dear workers and engineers were able to discover 53 billion barrels of oil in a big field, Rouhani said. Iran currently has the world's fourth largest proven deposits of crude oil and the world's second largest deposit of natural gas. It shares a massive offshore field in the Persian Gulf with Qatar. The new oil field could become Iran's second largest field after one containing 65 billion barrels in Avaz. I believe Avaz actually is the city where that huge, massive funeral procession, I should say, happened earlier today for Qasem Soleimani. Since the U.S. withdrew from the 2015 nuclear deal, the other countries involved, Germany, France, Britain, Russia, and China, have been struggling to save it. However, they've offered no means by which Iran can sell its oil abroad. Any company or government that buys Iran's oil faces harsh U.S. sanctions, the threat of which also stopped billions of dollars in business deals and sharply depreciated Iran's currency, the rial. Let's see. So, I mean, I don't really think we can say that it's a coincidence necessarily that, just shortly less than 2 months after Iran discovers, this huge, massive new oil field containing, 50 plus billion barrels of, crude oil, and then the Trump administration starts ramping up these aggressive offensive acts towards Iran, first with the airstrikes against those Iraqi militia groups that have ties to Iran, and then now with the Soleimani assassination. So I think this Iran discovering this new oil reserve could have played a part in this escalation on the part of the United States. Potentially and more than likely, I would say. But I think, a big part of it, we should also note, could be, impeachment. And Trump, wanted to get it over quickly, but it seems to be dragging on. Pelosi hasn't sent the articles of impeachment yet to the Senate for a Senate trial to take place. And, it's kind of been historically true that, if a president is at war or starts a war during their first term, they're more than likely to get elected to a second term. So maybe Trump's banking on that. It could be other reasons. Maybe he's just starting to listen to more of the hawks in his cabinet now. Who knows? But that's a lot of oil, and the U.S. has been willing to go to war for a lot less. than 50 billion barrels of oil. And so it wouldn't surprise me if this perhaps factored into the Trump administration's decision to escalate tensions with Iran. Maybe not implicitly or explicitly, I should say, but this could have been part of the implicit reasoning or rationale for escalating these tensions. And who knows if we will ever really know the exact reasons, because I think the lines that the State Department and Trump are feeding us now are complete BS with regards to that Soleimani was posing, this direct uh, and very urgent, threat to U.S. interests or resources or assets in the region, or that type of thing. I don't believe that for a second. I also think part of Trump's escalation here is that he does want the Iranians to respond in some type of dramatic fashion, and then the Trump administration and Trump can wag the finger. Look, that's weird. Iran is being the aggressor here, not the U.S. So we can go bomb them and destroy them and level more sanctions and assassinate more people and invade their country and take the resources because they're the bad guy, not the United States. You know, so I think Trump would probably be happy, honestly, if they did, retaliate. I don't think he really cares about anything except himself, and if he thinks starting a war potentially could help his chances getting reelected, I don't see him taking more than a couple of moments. Yeah, let's do it. If it's gonna help me, you think it's gonna help me? Yeah. Who do we got to bomb? How many people we got to kill and sacrifice for me to get reelected? I definitely think he thinks like that, unfortunately. Um, but what do you think? Do you think Iran discovering this new massive oil reserve, over 50 billion barrels, did that play any part in the Trump administration's decision to, escalate tensions with Iran in some very dramatic ways in recent days and weeks? No war with Iran. Peace. Much love.